good, everybody? I'm Isaac Lee, and I'm back again, this time not with a review, but with a reaction for a movie I didn't even know they were making. Apparently they're making another Home Alone. The title is called Home Sweet Home Alone, so let's just get straight into it. So basically, you can tell from the trailer that they're following the same beats as the original. The whole, you see the huge family, the huge house, they have this whole Christmas trip, except this time, it looks to be maybe a British or half British family. I don't know if it's just the main character and the mother that's British, but you can definitely hear a Cockney accent in both of them. But it's the same beats as far as them having this whole Christmas trip, except this time they're going to Japan. You see a plane that says Pan Japan Air, and you know, it's the same shenanigans. It's the whole thing about them being on two different flights. Somehow the kid gets left behind. We're gonna find out how when the movie comes out. I don't even know if we're gonna watch it, but it seems to be following the same beats. But the kid gets left behind. Then for whatever reason, you got two people that want to break into the house. The quote unquote sticky bandits. But this looks kind of like a neighborhood couple that might have a gripe against the family. So maybe they want to break in for whatever reason, because I mean, this is clearly a rich family. This isn't like some just middle class. This looks like a full-fledged rich family. So maybe they're trying to break in, get a couple valuables, whatnot. But of course the kid is there. He's trying to protect the house. Of course he has a whole plan of how he's going to protect it with all these booby traps and things like that, just like in the original. And they start, you know, doing little gags here and there to kind of reflect from the original Home Alone. One of the things that I did notice is that they have the guy who played Buzz in the original Home Alone, who was like the big brother to Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin. Apparently he's going to be in it. You know, he plays some police officer who I guess was coming by the house just to check up on things every now and again. And they even make a point to get like a close-up on his name tag where it actually says McAllister on it. So I'm like, that's interesting. But I'm curious if we're going to see a more mature Buzz that's actually going to take his job seriously, or is this going to be like or is he going to be like some jerk? Which would actually add a little bit more humor to it. Another thing is that when it comes to movies like this, you always have that weird character who turns out to be an ally at the very end. Like in the Home Alone 1, you had the elderly man who turned out to be an ally, and then in Home Alone 2, you ended up having the pigeon lady who ended up being an ally. So I'm really curious to see who's going to be the secret ally, who's going to be that weird character who the main kid maybe doesn't like or is afraid of, and at the end of the movie ends up being a huge help. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go. They have the same beats as far as the mother talking to the people at the airport, talking about how she has to get home to her son because he's so scared and he needs his mother and things like that. The exact same beats. Another thing, now that I'm thinking about this, remember in the first Home Alone movie where Kevin McAllister had this little toy recorder, and they basically put it in the movie to kind of like advertise what was going to be in like all the toy stores and things like that, which of course they did. But I'm curious what toy they're going to put in this movie to kind of like boost sales. That's going to be in all the toy stores. It's probably going to be in stores like Macy's, Target, stuff like that. Toys R Us. Toys R Us is pretty much gone. So yeah, that's shows my age, the fact that I would immediately think Toys R Us. But I'm curious what toy they're going to have this main character play with that's immediately going to drive sales for that particular item, especially going into the holiday season. So I'm just curious to see. What kind of traps they go with. People have done like little videos talking about just how deadly these traps are, which has me thinking that okay, this clearly isn't going to be like some R-rated movie. Of course not. But the traps are definitely going to be R-rated. The movie itself may be PG-13, but the reality of these traps are going to be R. No question about it. If you look back at the older traps of Home Alone 1 and 2, we're talking about serious concussions. Some of them, well, a lot of them could have killed you, but again, it's supposed to be an all good fun, but I wasn't really, I wasn't suspecting this at all. I didn't think they were making another one. This movie, even though it's called Home Sweet Home Alone, they really need to give it the real title. The real title should be Negligent Parents Part 5. It's another movie where somehow they leave their kid behind. They decide to have a house full of kids and yet somehow couldn't keep track of all of them. But whatever. That's what they really should call it. Don't call it Home Alone. Just call it Negligent Parents. That's the same thing. I mean, I used to love these movies when I was a kid, but as an adult, adult and I look back on them, I'm like, I just hate these parents. These parents are the most negligent parents. Like, I just see so many holes in this plan. I'm like, you have this many people, no one double checks. You got 2 parents. You see in the trailer the mother getting mad at the father, but I'm like, well, you didn't count either. I'm like, you're just to blame as much as he is. But it is what it is. I mean, I would be dead honest. I'm more than likely not gonna see this movie, so I'm just reacting to off this trailer because I was so surprised to see it when I woke up this morning. But it is what it is. But at the end of the day, hey, those are just my thoughts. But what are yours? And if you like what I had to offer, hit that like, subscribe at the bottom. I'm Isaac Lee. This is The Rundown.